was really looking to get our offense started, get our engine started. They just made a play and we didn't.
I wanted to make sure I got each and every detail in regards to this game correctly before creating a video on it. And usually it would take me about a day to do this, but I'm currently in the process of moving, so getting content out to you guys in the manner that I would like to get content out to you guys has been a little bit more difficult. But on the plus side, you're no longer going to see me making videos in my bedroom anymore. So before we get to the content, I'm giving away $500 to a subscriber that turns on our notifications on this channel, and $500 to a follower on Instagram this week. Now that we got all that out of the way, break! With the amount of work I do on a day-to-day basis, it's really hard to stay energized. And usually the snacks on the market are absolutely loaded with sugar and really bad for you, which is why I recommend Munk Pack. Munk Pack are low sugar and keto-friendly bars that are plant-based, gluten-free, and non-GMO. They're the perfect snack for anyone that's trying to eat better or cut back on sugar and carbs without sacrificing taste. My personal favorite flavor is the peanut butter dark chocolate. I'm just a big peanut butter guy. And the best part is they only contain 2 or 3 grams of net carbs and contain 150 calories or less. And honestly, they have an amazing and chewy texture and come in delicious flavors like sea salt dark chocolate, coconut chocolate chip, or caramel sea salt. So you get 20% off of your first purchase of any Munk Pack product when you use my promo code Mikerophone on monkpack.com. That's promo code Mikerophone on monkpack.com, and they are so confident that you're gonna like this that if you don't like the product, they'll give you your money back guaranteed. And thank you Munk Pack for the sponsorship. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? The final game of the NFL season was an absolute masterpiece. There was no better conclusion to the NFL season than the Los Angeles Chargers versus the Las Vegas Raiders with a playoff game on the line. But there was a lot more at stake here, and I don't think we've ever had a situation like this before in NFL history, because in this scenario, if the Las Vegas Raiders and the Los Angeles Chargers were to tie in this game, then both of them would make it to the playoffs. However, if only one of these teams were to win, then they would make it to the playoffs, and the Pittsburgh Steelers would make it to the playoffs, and the team that they beat would not make it to the playoffs, which was an awesome thing to have at stake, and also a little bit of a wild card that was in effect that we truly felt. So how did we get here? Well, it's really important to note that the Los Angeles Chargers and the Las Vegas Raiders both had coaching changes that occurred over the past year. In the Las Vegas Raiders situation, they didn't really have any choice. John Gruden had a bunch of really horrible emails leaked, and as a result, he had to resign, to the tragic DUI incident that resulted in their former first-round pick Henry Ruggs getting released, and then a couple of weeks later when Damon Arnett decided to threaten someone live on his Instagram story, which resulted in him getting released, the Las Vegas Raiders overcame all odds to make it to this point. The Los Angeles Chargers are in a little bit of a different situation. Last year, they had a different head coach, Anthony Lynn, who was a pretty solid head coach. However, he completely failed at managing late game situations. He made some questionable calls as a head coach, and as a result, those questionable calls resulted in the Los Angeles Chargers losing 7 very winnable games last year. So this past season, they went after Brandon Staley from the Sean McVay coaching tree, and ultimately, he had his bright spots and his weak spots throughout his rookie year as a head coach. The bright spots being he was aggressive at the right times, like when he beat the Kansas City Chiefs through his aggressiveness, and the not so bright spots being he was aggressive during fairly inappropriate times, like in this game. And of course, there was a questionable decision he made that allowed the Las Vegas Raiders to apparently overthink the situation they were in that ultimately hindered their chances at making it to the playoffs. Let's talk about the very first aggressive decision that their head coach made, which was going for it on 4th and 1 on their own 18. This is a decision you straight up make in a game of Madden. I've never seen this happen, especially with this much on the line. But here's what bothered me the most. It was 4th and 1, and the Los Angeles Chargers decided to go for it, which, okay, fine. Maybe you had a go-to play that was definitely gonna work, but they went for the most predictable play that every single team would go for on 4th and 1. It was almost as if the Raiders knew what it was coming when they handed it off to Austin Eckler on a halfback halfback dive. They literally lost 3 yards on this one play, and they weren't even close to getting it. At least some sort of trick play or some go-to play that you go to in your playbook whenever you're in 4th and 1 situations on your own 18. Don't just do a halfback dive. That's like a default play everyone makes on 3rd and 1. Every single head coach and defensive coordinator is going to assume you're running a halfback dive on 4th and 1 or 3rd and 1. You come out with a play action, especially with the defensive line that the Las Vegas Raiders have. Here's what the head coach had to say about going for it on 4th down.
Yeah, I mean, I understand the criticism. We felt like we could get the run. We felt like that was going to be a drive starter for us, generate some steam for our offense. Felt like we would get it. Felt like we had a good play call with the duo run, and they just knifed in there and made a good play. But was really looking to get our offense started, get our engine started, and they just made a play and we didn't.
Obviously, he's going to defend his stance here, and if the Los Angeles Chargers ended up winning here, then I don't think we would care as much. But unfortunately, whenever you lose, people are going to nitpick at these instances. Ultimately, we had an absolute masterful game. We had Justin Herbert on 4th and 21 throw a remarkable touchdown with 4.5 minutes remaining, and then afterwards, once again, you had Justin Herbert march his team down to find Mike Williams in the end zone for a game-tying touchdown as time expired. And ultimately, things seemed to be smooth sailing. It seemed like the Chargers had momentum, and then we got to overtime. For the most part, the Raiders did seem like they were trying to win it. They marched down the field, they kicked a field goal by Daniel Carlson, and then the Los Angeles Chargers, once again, remarkable 4th down conversion from Justin Herbert to Max Williams that resulted in them kicking a field goal. Now the Raiders got the football back. With 3 minutes left, it seemed like the Raiders were trying to milk as much clock as humanly possible. And then for some reason, Brandon Staley, as time was running out on 3rd down, decided to call a timeout and have the Las Vegas Raiders think about it a little bit more. Do we really want to milk all this clock? And apparently, according to Derek Carr, he actually admitted that this changed their mindset. This caused the Las Vegas Raiders to decide, hey, instead of trying to tie the game and send us both into the playoffs, let's go ahead and kick a field goal and eliminate one of these teams. Honestly, I think this is extremely sadistic of Derek Carr, because now we have to watch Ben Roethlisberger play in the playoffs instead of Justin Herbert, which is what we all wanted, right? Not at all whatsoever. Nothing against Steelers fans. I'm just gonna be honest, I'd rather watch the Los Angeles Chargers and Justin Herbert in the playoffs than Ben Roethlisberger struggling to make basic throws. So here's what Derek Carr had to say about the situation.
We knew no matter what, we didn't want to tie. We wanted to win the football game. Obviously, if you tie, you're in, and I think all those things. But my mindset all day, I even was texting with Aaron Rodgers this morning. My mindset was to make sure that we were the only team moving on after this.
You could see Austin Eckler apparently was filled in on the situation by the Raiders as well. I'm not exactly sure how credible Derek Carr is in this situation, because I can't really imagine a head coach saying, you know what, man, these guys, they called a timeout. They're trying to beat us in this game. We're going to get them right back here. You know what we're going to do? We're going to kick a field goal and eliminate them from contention. Bear in mind that these are two teams that are in the AFC West. They don't want each other to succeed. They're in the same exact division. I'd imagine that the Raiders were as motivated as possible to keep the Chargers out of the playoffs. And I feel like Derek Carr is just coming out and saying this just to troll everyone. Here's what Brandon Staley had to say in regards to his timeout.
I don't think it changed their mindset, because they were going to run the ball on the play before, and then they ran the ball the very next play. So we wanted to make sure that we got our run defense in there, and we obviously didn't execute well enough, but we wanted to get our premium one-back run defense in here, and that's what we did.
So do you guys agree with Brandon Staley here? Do you think his aggressiveness blew up in his face, or do you think that he made the right decision to put himself and his team in the best situation to potentially win the game? I honestly feel like it's good to be aggressive at times, but you have to pick and choose when is an appropriate time to be aggressive, and you have to be very calculated when you take such risks. Let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think. Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike. I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.